four of my favorite people. I've got to tell you, you're 100% correct that when you link arms with people, you just seem this accelerant and momentum. And I've got to tell you, with this podcast is really something that I'm excited about today. And I've invited four of our 8-week boot camp graduates to jump on a call because I've literally watched over the last 8 weeks. I just thought, man, what a transformation that's happened. And not only that, a lot of camaraderie and synergy. So I've got Laura Barron, I've got Tommy Kolb, I've got Brian Brimley, and Ryan Pope. And so what's up, everybody, all on the same call?
Yes, excited to be here. Holy cow, what a cool opportunity to be on here with you, Steve.
I'm so happy to be you guys.
Go for it, Tommy. What were you going to say?
Oh, I was just going to say, absolutely. It's such an honor to be on here. From my perspective, I'm always listening to everybody else, on the podcast and different things. So it's super cool to be on the inside here and be able to talk with everybody about the boot camp.
Dude, it's exciting. Ryan, what you got, man?
Man, thank you for having us. Pumped to be on here with four of my favorite folks. So honored to be here and looking forward to it.
Hey, well, one of the cool things about the in the boot camp, we really have this micro community. And what happens is we start out as strangers and over the course of 8 weeks really become a lot like family. And I thought, man, I'd love to hear just because what you'll see is out of the 12 people, there will be a handful that kind of emerge where it's like, man, you're spiking the ball is one of the phrases we use. And that's where you're sharing the wins. And there's an encouragement and all of this great camaraderie that happens. Laura, talk a little bit about that. What's happened over the last 8 weeks? I'd love to hear just what's happening in your personal, like in your business and what's going on as far as that is.
So in my business specifically, it's been good.
Talk about it.
I got 2 offers accepted today. So I have another $1 million on the books today. But since March, between March and today, I've booked almost 5 million in business. And to put it into perspective for you, in January I did 348,000. In February I did 346,000. And then starting March, April, May, June, July, 1.7, 741, 1.4, and then 2 million.
Let's go. Come on, girl. Hey, talk about this. What do you feel like has helped you the most? What do you think is, a couple of things that you say, man, this has really been helping me?
So for me, obviously the daily discipline is really critical, but I was getting the calls, I was getting the meetings. For me, it was like really fine tuning what I was saying and how I was connecting with people. I love talking to people. I love asking questions and getting deep with them, but I didn't know how to share who I was authentically. I felt like I had to show up as this, like the loan officer, the professional, the numbers person. I know about loan programs and guidelines. So what really moved the needle for me was getting to connect who I am as a person with who I am as a loan officer, to form real relationships with realtors so that they would feel comfortable connecting me with their clients and know that they were going to be well represented by this person who's not only a great loan officer, but a human. And that is really, I think, the thing that I got out of the boot camp the most.
I love it. Brian, talk, you share a little bit about your experience, man.
Absolutely. I'm happy to. There's really 2 main takeaways that I have from the boot camp. One big one is absolutely the community. That is something that is kind of new to me, learning to rely on others, to let others kind of boost me up, to be able to participate, contribute in that community. That was a huge learning experience for me. And another one was really just the consistency or setting pace. Would it be okay if I shared kind of a story with that?
But hey, I just I want y'all to talk, share it. There's nothing off limits, man. Come on.
It's kind of funny. So this boot camp here, it not only is applicable to the mortgage business or anything like that. So I'm located in Utah, right by the mountains, and I love hiking. And yesterday I decided I wanted to go on this hike, and I've done this hike quite a few times. It's a It's a steep one. A lot of uphill, a lot of elevation gain, and so I decided that I was going to try something a little bit different. And so I decided that I was not going to stop for a break at all the way up the mountain, which means that I was just going to slow it down just a little bit just to keep a steady pace. And the interesting thing was I did it, didn't stop at all, made it all the way to the top, and I did it in record time,
Come on, man.
which was interesting to me. And so just looking at that, like, I think that that's something that I've also learned in this boot camp is the same thing is applied. It's, it's the tortoise and the hare. It's not always, run fast, take a break, run fast, take a break. It's do the same things, no matter what pace it is. It doesn't really matter the speed, just, find a pace, stick with it consistently, and you'll go further faster, especially if you have other support in there holding you up. And so that's something that I've definitely seen in this boot camp, being able to consistently, make calls, consistently have appointments, and now starting to see the results of that with referrals coming in.
I love it. Hey, there was a quote I've really been thinking about all weekend, and that successful people do consistently what others do occasionally. And, there's so much. So let me say it again. Successful people do consistently what others do occasionally. And, we think we're such a social media driven society. It's like, let me see the highlight reel, the highlight reel, the highlight reel. And, Carl and I were talking about this a couple weeks ago. Muhammad Ali talked about, he said, you know what? His national platform was built on results, but he said, very few people really understand the amount of time that he was literally running, jumping rope, and punching a bag, like tens of thousands of hours, because it's so easy to say, highlight reel, highlight reel, highlight reel. Man, I'm closing all this business. I'm building all these relationships. But at the end of the day, they don't see pushing past the call reluctance, pushing past the chaos, and putting a little bit of structure in place. And so I think that that is such a big part of what I've seen in each one of your successes is the consistency of just taking a next step. Tommy, talk about what your experience has been.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my, the boot camp was amazing. I couldn't say more about how much it has transformed me over the last 8, 9 weeks. Um, it's been really wonderful, and also being I would never have thought before the boot camp I'd have all these friends. Like it's really remarkable whenever everybody binds together to do the same thing, how much you find in common with people. And so it's really remarkable. But number one, community. I think was huge. Like I think before boot camp, I was trying to do some of what the Marketing Animals has provided in the past by myself, and being able to have the community piece has really fast tracked my results tenfold because you're able to bounce ideas off of each other. You're able to work on your scripting, and it's kind of like, Ryan, we're from the South. We got to make it a little more Southern, right? And for people who are in the North, maybe make it a little more Northern, and so just the community aspect is huge for me. And then, like Brian was talking about the consistency piece, I think it was, I saw on one of the breakfast clubs here recently, Kristen Simpson said you're like 7 times more likely to do something if you do it with somebody. And so for me, that's been massive, is being able to have people around me that I'm doing it together with has been massive for that daily consistency and just getting over some of that call reluctance as well.
Dude, I love it. Hey, well, I would watch you guys jump on different calls, and it's like, hey, I'm having a challenge here. Let's jump on a call and let's work through it. Somebody talk about that. Ryan, talk about that. Like, I think when I look at the success of breaking through, there's 4 pillars that we've really identified. Number 1, it's math, know the numbers. When you do that, it takes all the anxiety away. Number 2 is really skill. There's a handful of things we got to work on each and every day, like the fundamentals. Third is discipline, which really comes by having a cool accountability to showing up and having other people say, hey, listen, I may not show up for myself, but you're going to be there. You're counting on me. You can count on me. I'll show up. I think that's a big part of discipline. And then the last part is the belief. And I think that's the one that's almost intangible. And when I look at you 4, and I just see, because I remember each one of you, as we started the process, there's become such a belief and not arrogance. But when you're doing it, it's like, dude, I can do this. I'm good enough. I got this. Like, oh, that was bad calls, but guess what? We got more calls, and those were bad conversations, but hey, they're going to get better. And I just have watched your belief literally probably go from under 1 out of 10, I'd say 5, to probably an 8 or 9 and 10, where it's like, I can do this. Ryan, talk about that.
100%. And piggybacking on what these guys have said, the community was massive. And you've talked about the micro communities within the boot camp. I had daily calls with Tommy, pretty much, multiple times a week with Brian, and Laura and I were about once a week, just to hop on, build each other up, bounce ideas off each other. It was a really, really cool experience to be a part of it, and just the encouragement there. Never any negativity. Vulnerable a couple times. Hey, don't want to make my calls today. Not feeling great, and just the positivity that came back. Hey, you got this. You know, pick the phone up, make 1 call, make 5 calls. Just building each other up. It was really, really special. And obviously we're all here together. We're still doing it. It's been great.
Hey, so tell me, if somebody's listening and they say, you know what, I'm really struggling with taking a first step, whether that's being proactive and making outbound calls, whether that's networking or selling activity, or even just getting the discipline of showing up. I'd love for you to talk about how did you take a first step? Because you didn't walk in like the confident Ryan that I see now is not what I saw the first week. So how do they take a first step?
The first step is finding your crew that's going to build you up. Making sure that there are going to be people who not only support you but celebrate your wins with you. It was really, really cool to see along this ride how many wins and how many different styles of wins people had. You know, some people was picking up the phone 1 time, some people was making 100 phone calls in a day, but the celebration was the same across the community, and that was really, really.
Hey, that's powerful. Laura, what are your thoughts on that?
I totally agree. And I think that if someone is hesitant to raise their hand and say that I need help, I would say the fact that you can even recognize that you need help is half the battle. Like, you can't change something that you're not aware of. So if you are listening to this right now and you are having this awareness, like, oh no, I'm afraid to pick up the phone. I don't feel like I have anyone that I can call when I need help. I don't know what to say to these people. I don't know how to convert my meetings into leads. Then even having that awareness, you're already halfway there. And I don't know, I would say that you could join the MMA community. You can do whatever you need to do. You can find one of us online. You heard all of our names. Find me on Facebook. I am more than happy to build you up. I'm more than happy to say you can do it. And I'm more than happy to connect you with people that have helped me in my career so that you can do the same.
Love it. Hey, and you know what, Brian, knowing what you know now, 9 weeks later, what would you tell yourself?
What would I tell myself knowing what I know now? I think there's probably 2 things. One is anything worth doing is worth doing badly. Just get started. That's a big one. And another one is learning how to just do the shoulder shrug. Like, just make an offer and just like, it's just, hey, would you want to go to coffee? No? Okay. That's okay. You know, just shoulder shrug it, you know, just let it roll right off your shoulder if they say no. And just, you know, there's a million others that you can talk to, you know, just, you have your list of thousands of realtors, you know, just keep going. And so that's what I would be. Just let it bounce off you and keep going.
Dude, I love it. The shoulder shrug. Come on, we're going to have a t-shirt. Do the shoulder shrug. Tommy, what about you, man? Knowing what you know now, what would you tell yourself?
Knowing what I know
ask
now.
Laura and Ryan both this as well. So go for it.
Absolutely. Oh man. Well, first thing I would tell myself after these 8 weeks is keep running. I didn't do the 8 weeks to stop, right? We did the 8 weeks to build momentum for my career, for the future, right? So number 1, keep running. And I'd say number 2, lean in, right? The more that I lean in, the more that I'm getting out of everything that I've received out of the boot camp was me leaning in. So keep running and lean in.
Love it. Laura, what about you?
Ooh, these people are hitting the nail right on the head. It's like actually really beautiful. I'm going to say the things that I feel like I have heard you tell me, because they're the things that I needed to hear, which is you're worthy. You're worthy of success. You're worthy of anything that you set your mind to. You are more than you can imagine. I believe in you. You're enough, and you're worthy. And I think this business is really, really hard, and we can take a lot of hits from a lot of different areas. And so knowing that despite all of that, you can show up every day, you can achieve success is really important. It's just that belief in yourself. And so I would tell myself to believe in myself.
I love it. Ryan, what about you, man? What would you tell yourself?
Yeah, right on top of that, it is you are enough.
Mm,
You don't
mm.
have to have a specialty product. You don't have to have any of it. Just showing up makes you enough. Just being who you are and having your why is enough. And so that's what I would tell myself 8 weeks ago: is show up, and do the work, and you're enough. So
Hey, and I really want to encourage everyone as well that when your mind and your body say no, I don't want to show up. I don't want to get up. I don't want to run into my first appointment. I don't want to make outbound calls. I don't want to ask for the business. One of the things I've really been meditating on this last week as well is when my mind and body say no, I tell myself it's just what we do. It's just what I do. I get up and I show up each and every day. And man, I want you four to know that you are an absolute encouragement to me and to so many across this industry. And so just continue to show up, continue to let your light shine bright and be an encouragement. When I see the progress of where we were 9 weeks ago and where we're at now, I'm just sitting here saying, dude, our best days are ahead. And it is super, super exciting. Hey, anybody got a closing thought? I'm going to wrap it up. But any last thought you wanted to say? I'm going to open it up. Give us that, and then we'll get out of here. Go for it, Ryan. I see you. You go for it. Circle back.
if you're thinking about a boot camp, sign up for a boot camp. It will change the trajectory of your career and your life for the better. And it's nothing but positivity. It's positive pressure, which is awesome. So
yeah. Hey, and by the way, it's at www.loanofficersuccess.com. So, Laura, you got something?
I was just going to say that even, the best athletes in the world, the best professionals in the world, we all have coaches. We all need help sometimes. We all need someone outside of ourselves to bounce ideas off of and to help us figure things out. And so I'm very grateful for the community that we've cultivated here and to continue to participate in it. And I highly recommend it to anyone who's kind of on the fence, because if Steph Curry practices shooting, 3-pointers, then we can practice making phone calls.
I love it. Brian.
I think that kind of what Laura was saying there. If in all reality, I think oftentimes we know what we should be doing. Most of the time we know what we should be doing, but we don't always end up doing what we should be doing. And this boot camp, that is the ticket to get started with it, just to build the habit to do 8 weeks of the same thing over and over again, to get that habit instilled of doing what you know you should be doing so that you can continue to grow in the direction you want to grow.
Well said. Tommy, bring us home.
Well, I absolutely, after this boot camp, firmly believe that to maximize your potential, you can't do it alone. So you got to run alongside people that are doing it the way you want to do it. And so yeah, find your crew, join the boot camp. It's been remarkable for me, and it will be for you as well.
Hey, if you want to know more about the boot camp, go to loanofficersuccess.com. I've got to tell you, it has been just an exceptional journey to partner with loan officers who say, you know what, I'm starting over. I'm a day one loan officer. I'm rebuilding, reworking my business. Some of the things that have come out of it is really consistency, overcoming fear and call reluctance, and building structure and leaning into a micro community that genuinely cares about your success, and in a very cool way, helping you stay accountable to your goals and what you believe that are the best for you in your life. And so just Ryan and Laura and Tommy and Brian, such a great example of leaning in and having great success. And so again, go to loanofficersuccess.com, loanofficersuccess.com. And what I know is this, that successful people do consistently what others do occasionally. Anything worth doing is worth doing badly. You just got to get started. See ya.